The first time you were handed the mic, you did not know what you were doing because you had not done it before. So if we stack up all the evidence that shows might not have done those things, but we've done other things. And we jumped and discovered that the party was on the other side of the resistance. And
Mm,
if we can stack up enough of these moments, that's like, sure, I didn't know what I was doing and I figured it out. I didn't know what I was doing and I figured it out because there is
mm.
no such thing as perfectly ready for anything.
A growing health, wellness, and leadership podcast designed for you to become your most empowered self.
Great day, amazing humans. Welcome to the Empowered in My Skin podcast, where our mission is to help 1 billion people in this world think in more empowering ways. Empowered humans empower humans. So you are the right spot to become a lead domino for empowerment today. So let the show begin. Great day, amazing humans. Yes, welcome to the next episode of Empowered in My Skin, the guest episode. And for all the YouTubers, you get to see an amazing, wonderful, majestic human that I'm going to get to spend some time and energy with. And all of you listening are wondering, who is it? Well, this guest is the coach leaders call when they're ready to conquer doubt, shatter ceilings, and step boldly into their greatness. A sought after TEDx speaker and fearless advocate for trailblazers everywhere. She helps turn imposter feelings into iconic breakthroughs. Buckle up. Really, buckle up for a powerful dose of clarity and courage with this amazing guest. So, you know how we do it on this podcast. Put your hands, your ears, everything together for a gigantic podcast welcome for Tanya Geisler. Do we have what do they call these things?
Jazz
The
hands!
jazz hands.
I just feel like we need some walk-on music right now. And when you say great day, it's like it is an app. That is it. That's it. It's a great day. It
It's a
is a
great day.
great
It's a great
day.
day. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
one human in my life that doesn't like when I say it. Yeah, but that's all right.
Hey, okay.
We work through that. We work through that. Yes.
I can
Unfortunately,
imagine.
somebody I have to greet quite often,
Oh,
but it's all right. Yeah.
so good to be
So
here.
yeah. As always, I start this interview with an amazing question because I'm always really curious. What has been your most empowering thought that you've had of the day so far?
Ooh, of the day so far. Of the day so, oh my goodness.
Hmm.
What a great
This day.
question
This
of
day.
this
Because we
day.
don't often think about like, yeah, how did I? And empowered to me is like making sure like I never really explain it for people, but it means that like because you felt that way, you know somebody else
Yeah.
benefited. Yeah, the domino effect. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been out a lot this week and I was carrying we've gone to a lot of the tennis. So right now it's
Mm.
August, so we saw the tennis here in
Hmm.
Toronto and then all celebrated Vicky and Boko's
I
win.
know.
Oh my
What?
God!
Go, I
Woo!
don't know even know. Go Victoria, but go Canada. Like it's the
Oh my
first ever.
gosh.
Yeah, three Grand Slam winners, right?
Yeah.
Three Grand Slam. Wow, that's
But
incredible.
Vicky's 18. Like it was a big week in
Yeah.
tennis. Anyway, we've been going a lot, and I have this little like festival pack thing that I wear. And I was like, why is it so heavy? It's just tiny, it's this big. And I was like, I've got my wallet and I've got my sunglasses, now I've got my readers because I'm readers age old. And I'm like carrying my husband's, and I'm like a little bit annoyed that I've got like all of this stuff. And then I actually went into my bag and I started pulling out, and I had like fistfuls of makeup. Fistfuls that I did not know that it was fistfuls of makeup I was pulling out. And I said to a friend who I happened to be talking to, I said, it is amazing how much stuff we are carrying that we don't
Yeah.
realize that we
Mm.
are carrying. And I
Oh,
wanted to make up stories about how I was so annoyed that he doesn't have his own carry-all. There's all my own makeup I didn't even know I had in there. And
yeah.
so that is a very empowering thought for me to
Hmm.
consider what else I might be carrying
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I'm not even aware of, that I'm
I like how you
walking
made that a
around,
metaphor. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
Because I think it is about life. Like if you feel heavy, then you're carrying something that's weighing you down.
Carrying something I'm waiting to better have a look at it, right? So that has
Mm.
been really empowering, and I know that that was really helpful to the people that I was talking
Yeah,
to.
I love that. And it's
That's it.
helpful to listeners. I like that. That actually, I mean, I like that it was your bag and you can unload it, but sometimes if
Yeah.
it's it for the inner work, it takes some time.
It
But you
takes
gotta
some time.
but you gotta
Yeah,
do
it
it.
takes some time. And then you have to make some choices. Like, okay,
Yeah.
actually, I want all this, but I didn't even know that it was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, sometimes we can make choices, not always, but
Yeah.
sometimes. And let's make the
Yeah.
choices when we can. So that
Yes.
was an empowering thought today.
So you also just shared that those fab. By the way, I feel bad for the readers. You were missing her readers,
Mm.
readers. No,
Mhm.
listeners. You're missing her readers. But are those like
Yeah,
prescribed
yeah,
readers?
yeah,
Okay, those are nice. I like those. I
yeah.
was gonna say because I get mine on where are mine? Mine are I went onto Amazon and I got a whole bunch of like the Oprah kind and the these are just like one and a
Oh, those are
half.
cute. Yeah,
They're
I
kind of
like
cute.
those.
Yeah.
I like those. I've got some hot pink ones going on. I mean, yeah,
Ah.
these are fun ones. Yeah, I mean, right, you're gonna wear readers. You might as well have to
Yes.
be fabulous. Also,
Yes.
empowering thought of the day.
Yes, yes, yes. Fabulous readers like
Fabulous.
this. Yes, there we go. We're both some readers. I will,
Hey,
yeah. So,
hey.
but honestly, Amazon has some really great lenses. Okay. So we kind of talked about this in the B-roll. And Tanya has actually been a guest on the podcast. She did it wasn't Empowering Bites at the time, it was like a Thriving Thursday with myself and Gabby
Mm,
way back when. I think it was May 2021 or something we established. Anyway,
a
it's been too
million
long.
ago.
Yeah. And we just happened to hit up the other day on LinkedIn. And when we last met, we talked about the imposter syndrome. So I actually just shared with her. We're not going into that now, but I just shared with her my journey and where we are now. But she talked about this new concept called the Trailblazer Complex. And I was intrigued. I remember I was intrigued. I talked to my team and they were like, this is different. And so we said we love you. You coined it. It sounds really powerful. And so how about we start there?
Yeah.
So what is it and why do you believe it's actually a sign you're right where you need to be? Because I believe those were your words.
So here's the thing about the Trailblazer complex. I've been talking about the imposter complex since, well, my whole life. Didn't know that that's what it had a name. And I've been talking about it though professionally since 2012. I did a TEDx talk in 2012 on imposter complex. And I have a deep praxis, I have deep understanding of how it works and how we navigate it. And I've also seen in the last probably 5 or 6 years the way that this idea of imposterhood always can feel very reductive.
Hmm.
Even though I when I do a keynote, it's like the first 5 minutes are qualifying. Okay, we're gonna talk about imposter complex, and here's some historical context, and here I need you to understand how I'm approaching this as a white, neurotypical, able-bodied woman of middle class means living in North America, and that might not be your lived experience, and all of that is accurate and important to name. And it doesn't change the fact that almost every time I have a conversation or do a keynote, people will say, "This is all really, really, really helpful information." I just I know that I'm not an imposter, but everybody around me insists that I must be suffering from this thing because I'm doing big, audacious moves. And so for a really long time, I've been thinking about what happens when
Mm-hmm.
the imposter complex shows up. And usually it means that we are at the precipice of our expansion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually it means that we are on the precipice of doing something that nobody else has done or
Mm-hmm.
somebody that hasn't looked like us before.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity to speak with a group of women in VC in
Mm-hmm.
venture
Mm-hmm.
last May. And I mean, there talk about like grim statistics.
Mm-hmm.
12%
Oh
of
gosh.
decision makers in
Mm-hmm.
VC are women, right? Only 2.4%
Percent
are
women's.
founding members. So them there to talk about this imposter complex. And the women are there and they're like, this is going to be really great information, but I could just feel this dissonance, this dissonance in the naming. Now, I also talk a lot about how I don't actually call it imposter syndrome, which my SEO people get super pissed because that's what people are Googling. But I've always called it a complex because I think that the idea of a syndrome
Yeah, yeah.
medicalizes it and co-opts a medical term, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all of this, like I've got all these qualifiers And it pushes us away from the goalpost, which is to make sure that people are staying in aligned action.
Mm,
Um, and so I was with this group and I thought, I've been thinking about this long enough. I'm just going to see what happens if I say the idea of the imposter complex, the fact that you are struggling with it, even in any way, shape, or form, is the indicator that you are on the precipice of something new, is the meaning, it is the indicator that you are struggling with the trailblazer complex, pardon me.
mm,
So that just shifted. What if we stopped naming it as this imposter complex language, or talking about the imposterhood aspect of it, and lean more into the fact that this is just part of the gig. This is
mm,
just part of the gig. This is just part of the deal.
mhm,
Because we also have had, and I don't want to speak for you, but the number of times when you do something that's really big and really audacious, and other people will assign this to you,
mhm,
or if you've been in spaces, uh, you will be gaslit with this
mhm,
information, right? You will
mhm,
be told that your doubt has everything to do with your own imposter complex, as
mhm,
opposed to more structural conditions that are around you. Yeah.
mhm.
So when we think about, though, what we are experiencing as the Trailblazer complex, that just gives us a breath,
Yeah.
a breath to consider that, you know, I'm experiencing this again because I'm on the precipice of my expansion. I'm
Mhm,
experiencing this because I'm first out of the gate,
mhm.
right? Other people haven't done this. I'm experiencing this because there's some misunderstood brilliance here. Um, and now what do I do with it? You know? And the tricky part is that it's actually not dissimilar to how we navigate imposter complex. It's kind of the same. It's just we start from a more empowered place. And
Mhm.
that makes all the difference.
I love that you said we start from a more empowered place. So what are some identifiers that somebody can, because when you say we're on the precipice, sometimes people that almost means like there is something coming. You may not know it's already there,
Yeah.
but it's like you're edging towards it in some shape or fashion. So, what would be the things that would be real in the space when somebody is actually the somebody's actually feeling that you can say, well, what you're walking into is the trailblazer complex. Is there
It's
feelings like that you can
it's
express?
the it's the this is bigger than anything I've ever done before,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is just that moment of, this is a big step. Am I
Mm-hmm.
ready? Am I prepared? It's that split second before I know that I can't do this, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
that I haven't done this before, and that by definition means that this is going to be
Yeah,
scary, right?
yeah, yeah.
It's new territory. There's this thing. I started my book proposal with this. There used to be in ancient texts, ancient maps, there would be the words "there be dragons" beyond what the cartographers understood.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, just to be like, just don't go beyond what you can't see, right?
Mm-hmm.
There be dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the trailblazers like, okay, I know that there may be dragons over there, and I am not going to stop myself from going off the map.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And as you had said, I hope it's okay to share this. You look down the road and you say, like, who's there and who's not there, and who
yeah.
needs to be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's an inflection point. That's an inflection
Yeah.
point. It's a moment of this hasn't been done before. I certainly haven't done this before.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe other people have. I have not done this before, and
Mm-hmm.
that feels big. And I feel it
Mm-hmm.
somatically. I feel it in
Mm-hmm.
my body. I feel the
Mm-hmm.
flush. But instead of going straight to, I'm not the person to do this, sit inside the, what if I am the person to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And trusting in that calling.
Yeah.
That's tough. It's all tough.
Yeah.
It's all really, really tough.
Yeah.
But that's the very first part, right? You're first out of the gate.
So for someone who has sort of been studying this, talks about it, coaches others about it, where I'm going, and so passionate about it. Tanya, does it still get you?
Every day. Oh my gosh. I just told you I'm working on my book, oh my gosh, absolutely every time. But this is how I know that I'm on the right track, right? I'm
Yeah.
on the right path. Now, your brain is going to tell you. So I talk one of the ways, and again, I would have said the same thing about imposter complex too. Um, one of the things we need to do is when we say, okay, but can I, like, I've never done this before. Can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And Catchy, I know that you've done this infinite number of times in your life where you've said, okay, I've not done this before, but what else have I done? What are all the
Mm-hmm.
things that I have done? What have I been
So
at?
the accomplishment view of
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
Yes. When
Mm-hmm.
when else have I felt like this?
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that really systematically and say, okay, the first time you were handed a baby, you don't know what you're doing, right? The first time you were asked to lead a team, you don't know what you're doing. The first time you were handed the mic, you did not know what you were doing because you had not done it before. So if we stack up all the evidence that shows might not have done those things, but we've done other things, and we jumped and discovered that the party was on the other side of the resistance. And
Mm-hmm.
if we can stack up enough of these moments that it's like, sure, I didn't know what I was doing and I figured it out. I didn't know what I was doing and I figured it out because there is
Mm-hmm.
no such thing as perfectly ready for anything.
Yeah, and if I can encourage women especially, um, whether you have a gratitude journal or some type, like you need an accomplishment journal. And sometimes I think accomplishments need to be really, really big. So I use my gratitudes to say I'm grateful that I did this today, or I'm grateful that I met somebody that I hadn't met before. Like these are all accomplishments, right? Accomplishments aren't only those big, because
Mhm.
I think before you get to anything big, a whole bunch of small led up to it, right? Yeah, I think there's something
Oh my
to your
gosh.
point.
Absolutely. One of the, oh gosh, I could talk about this all day long too. I talk about having every single morning. First of all, I do 108 gratitudes before I get out of bed. Every single
Sorry?
morning. I do
Like in your
108
head?
gratitudes. No, well, yeah, in my head, I count them out on my fingers
Wow,
before
that's
I get
amazing.
out of bed. Yeah, and when I don't, trust me, I feel it.
Get
So
us get us to get us to 20. Go.
get us to 20 right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Husband, daughter, moon deck, cat, cat, cat. Um, Mark, my book agent, the signed Speakers Bureau contract, the website that's coming along, Jen, Amanda, Amy, my daughter's promotion, this conversation today, the peach cobbler that's in the oven, the clean water, my garden that is coming back after being so decimated, my in-laws' good health, the cottage that we're going to get to go up to next week, the good people that are working really, really hard for all the things we need to work to, with the money that I have in the bank that I'm going to be donating this weekend to World Kitchen, the food in my fridge, the party we're going to host tonight, the tennis that my body's going to let me play tomorrow, Vicky and Boko, like, I don't know, that's
I
20.
love it.
Yeah, all day, all day, every morning, every morning, every morning, every morning. And then if I start feeling like, oh, it feels a little stale, I start again.
Yeah.
But here's what I wanted to say too. I mean, I have all the systems. I got Notion boards, I got this, I got that. I still work every single day. I got my little sticky note. What are my
Mhm.
priorities? And here are my wins
Mm.
every day. Because if we're
At
not
what point do you do that in the day?
just throughout the day,
Oh, throughout the day.
Yeah,
Okay.
so like with Mark and tennis and you and I got my workout in, like, so all of those little wins, because when we talk about gratitude, it can feel too much. And when we
Hmm.
talk about celebration, which is actually one of the steps in my framework, it can feel like too much because we're constantly moving our own goalpost.
Hmm.
I often say that the ego wants to want more than it wants to get. So it's much more interested in the wanting than the
Hmm.
getting. So
Okay.
once we get to the thing, you know what this is like, right? I did I,
Hmm.
I did this thing, but I could have done it faster. I could have done it better. I could have done it smarter. Like, what took me so long? So we
Hmm.
don't actually allow ourselves, if we're not being aware of it, to
Hmm.
really celebrate
Right.
and integrate the hard work. So wins as an ongoing practice. I think it's the Trailblazer busting, a complex
Yeah.
busting move. Yeah.
I love it. And the more that you remember them, the easier they just come and rattle off, you know? So I do have a question because I do believe doubt plays it like is we there are people that are how do I say there are people that are trailblazers that experience doubt.
Hmm.
There's like those brilliant minds, they experience doubt, and there's people that doubt holds them back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's the same doubt, isn't
Same
it?
doubt. It's the same doubt. It's like, what do you got in your bag? Right?
So,
Like looking at all the things that are in your bag, pulling those things out of your bag, because some people choose to believe their doubt. Not
so
everybody, some people.
is that really the difference between those that are brilliant? But so why does brilliance and doubt go hand? So no one's absent of doubt. I think I'm answering my own question,
Hmm.
but it just so seems that anytime you ask somebody that's really brilliant, no matter how many proof points they have, no matter how many wins they write down, it's still there. It's still there.
It's still there. It can be. I mean, it can be. Okay, so you might be talking about some people who are perfectionists.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually not a thing that I have. I don't have a lot of perfectionism. So I actually or I've worked through it. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to say that because Trailblazer Complex, it's there's still this way in which we don't like this feeling, right? We don't like, or even if you want to think of it as still imposter complex, we don't want to feel not capable. So we're going to avoid that by being a perfectionist, by procrastinating, by diminishing, people pleasing, leaky boundaries, comparison. These are all ways that we can avoid this feeling of whether you call it imposterhood or just can't do it or doubt, right?
Mm.
So these are the ways that we're going to potentially hide out because it feels lousy. And so some people, they might be perfectionists. I deal with a lot of work with a lot of folks who are perfectionists. So I think that one of the things to do is to do a little bit of a trickster move and say, okay, if you tend to be a perfectionist, what is the value that that perfectionism is honoring on your behalf, right? Guess
Mm.
what? It's
It's not.
excellence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's excellence.
Oh, it's
It's
excellence. I
excellence.
see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You value excellence. That is a good thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you tend to be a people pleaser, that just means that you value inclusivity. Okay.
Oh, you're trying to frame it into like take it out of a label and actually give it some meaning.
Give it the golden shadow that it so richly deserves. Now,
Mm.
again, to your point, okay, so I can value excellence, and that means that I'm going to stay in this place of not, it's never going to be ready. And then I take it one step further and say, okay, who else values excellence in the same way? Okay, then we need to look at a different identity. So I call these iconic identities, and I have this quiz. So you tend to be, not so you, but the person listening, they tend to be a perfectionist. Okay, fine. That means that they value excellence. Fantastic. Probably makes them a really fantastic leader, and we love that about them. Who else really values? CEOs would value excellence and be perfectionist. Now, we all have visions of CEOs in our minds that maybe are not ideal, but if we think about the most idealized version of ourselves, then we know if I am running the organization to end all organizations, like the one that I want, I know that I would need to fail fast. I
Mm-hmm.
know that I would need to iterate. I
Mm.
know that imperfections are just places where innovation comes to life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's about sometimes taking ourselves out of our own
So,
experience
mm-hmm.
and then transferring it into something different. So let me say people pleasing. That does tend to be my issue. That does tend to keep me out of action from time to time. It does tend to keep me from doing some of the things I want to do. But if I remember that my value inside of perfection and people pleasing, pardon me, is that of inclusivity, that means that I'm a really beautiful host. That
Mm.
means that I can, if I, as long as I'm gathering people and inviting conversation, making peach cobbler. Like I am at my best when I'm gathering people, when I'm
Mm.
in conversations, when I'm hearing from lots of people. That is a good thing, and that keeps me in action. So I think it's helpful to play with different identities that actually
Mm-hmm.
honor the golden
Mm-hmm.
shadow that sits under the thing that seems to be in your way.
You know, and I love what you're saying about this. And the reason why is because I've been so much doing it for myself as well, like really trying to like give like um give language to something versus like a label. Like for example, I'm like how many people just say I'm an introvert?
Hmm.
or I'm an extrovert. And I'm thinking like I've seen some introverts that look very extroverted when they're around certain people. And they take no time to really say, well, when I'm in the presence of,
Yeah.
I find that my personality then, and then when I'm in another situation, then my and it gives you a little bit more, like what you just described, I feel gives you more room
Yes.
to move and express yourself.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, because I honestly think that sometimes these words, these labels are again the things that are like that are taking up space in your proverbial metaphorical bag, right? But
Yes,
when we
yes.
pull them out and go like, okay, well, I don't actually need all of these all the time. For where I'm going, I'm just gonna need some lip gloss and I'm gonna need some mascara, whatever it is. But like I can be much more devotional about it as opposed to just carrying all these things and identities that are weighing me
Mhm.
down all the time.
Yeah. I love
Um,
what you just shared about people pleasing. Like that
yeah.
is so relatable
Yeah.
for many, I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so happy because again, it's like we need to find our own way through. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, and I also think we talk about perfectionism, we talk about people pleasing, we talk about all these things like they're really terrible.
Mhm.
Um, and the self-development space is a $44 billion industry. Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I didn't know
There's
that.
a lot of money invested
Yeah.
in making people feel really crappy about
Hmm.
themselves all the time. So
Sorry, it's the self-development.
the self-development space is a
It's supposed to
$44
make
billion
billion, yeah,
dollar.
right. So it's mostly make people feel good about themselves, no?
It is, but it's like, but you got a problem. We need to
Oh,
fix you.
okay. I see what you mean. So you're
Yeah,
making you feel
yeah,
shitty first, and then
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you come to
So
me.
you got a big problem. You're a perfectionist. Okay, here's my $20,000 program that's going to
Yeah,
help
yeah,
you fix that.
yeah.
Here's another thought. How about, yes, you value excellence. So how are we going to make sure that you value excellence and continue to stay in action?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
your way through?
yeah,
That to me is that's what this is about because and I
yeah.
also think that's part of the reason so many people have bristled with like imposter complex language
Hmm.
or imposter syndrome language like do not tell me that I'm an imposter. I am
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
trailblazer. Yes,
Hmm.
there are some things that I would like to tweak and get a little more congruent about,
Hmm.
but no, nothing to fix here, friends, nothing
It's
to
so
fix.
funny. I remember years ago, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, but I think Simon Sinek once said that, um,
Hmm.
touching on the $44 billion industry, he once said that in any bookstore, or whatever you go, you always have a self-development section. Yeah, no, self-help section, but you
Mhm.
don't have a helping others section.
Yes.
And I think that's helping others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't, let me
Interesting.
help
Oh my
you.
God, so interesting. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're to blame. There's something
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
with you.
yeah.
There's
So, yeah,
right.
yeah.
So what's your way forward?
Forward,
And I
yeah.
think that there's so much anyway, there's so much more
Yeah,
nuance
right,
to it.
right, right.
And
So
and
you,
nobody's
you
gonna tell us that. So we
so
gotta
you
figure out.
touched a bit on a framework, and so I know you have created the iconic
Yeah.
framework, which I love the word iconic, by the way,
Thank you.
and to help leaders step into their power. So can you walk us through what that looks like in
Yeah.
practice? Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's, I mean, I love a good wordplay. I mean, I came up with iconic a lot of years ago because I love, the idea that you
Oh,
can't,
does it stand for something? It stands for something. Yes, of course it does. Yes, I
first of
did.
all,
Duh.
does it, I mean, every single person that's here, that's listening here, watching here, we know that we are in the presence of an icon. You are an icon. And so the idea of being iconic, I mean, it triggers a whole bunch of stuff, including the imposter complex, which is IC. You can't spell iconic without IC twice, meaning the moment
Oh,
somebody says,
I see.
baby, you are iconic. It's like, whew, this moment of like, some people have this moment of like, who me? And then if you've been in a role for a certain period of time and you're like ready to move on to the next, you're going to have it on the back end too. So it gets you coming and going,
Yeah, I love
right?
that. Mhm.
But it's also, I forget, I've like completely lost. Is it an anagram when it's
Yeah,
spelled out? Okay.
both way backwards and frontwards.
Oh no, that's
No,
palindrome.
no, that's anagram, isn't it?
Oh gosh. Okay. So Iconic. I is for identity. So
Mm-hmm.
this is where, seeing yourself as the person capable of
Mm-hmm.
blazing that trail. That's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
you got to get there. You got to be able to see yourself as the person capable of doing the thing. C is you got to confront the critics. There are going to be critics. There
Hmm.
will be there be dragons, right? And those critics, some of them are going to be external.
I have to
Some
get
of
my
the,
pen. Hold on. Why might not have my pen? Okay.
yeah, so eyes for
I.
identity. This is where, again, like seeing yourself as the person. And honestly, maybe it's CEO for you. Maybe it's host. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I gotta figure. Listen, I'll tell you this right now. When I was started working on my book proposal, I was like, okay, I gotta think like a writer. I gotta think like a writer. Frankly, that was disempowering. When I was working on my,
Mm.
yeah, it was totally disempowering. I mean, the book's been written 15,000 different times, but I was working on the marketing part of the
Hmm.
book. And I realized, okay, so I've been thinking like a writer. Now, if I think about like a marketer, can I market this book? And I was like, yeah, I can do that. But what if I think about this as a
I'm a re.
host?
I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say reader. Okay, a host.
Reader, yeah, of course, the reader. I write like pretty much everything. But if I think about this, the marketing part of my book proposal as the host, oh shit, I can do that. I can host a party. I can create an iconic tonic signature cocktail. I can gather people. I can do like all of a sudden the just like that part just wrote itself because that's
Mm.
the thing I'm really good at, gathering people, getting people excited about an idea, getting
Mm.
people excited about a movement. So get tapping into whatever that identity is to do the thing is going to be important. Okay,
Love
C,
it. Critics.
confronting the critics.
Hmm.
So again, some of those critics are going to be actual people who are critics of your action. That's
Hmm.
just true. Some of the critics are going to be realistic objections that you need to navigate. I want to do
Hmm.
this thing, but there's this massive block. I got to figure that out. And some of the critics are going to be internal.
I
Some
was
of
just
the
gonna say the
critics
inner critic, right?
yeah, right? So we have to figure out what's actually in the way, literally in the way. How much is ours? How much is theirs? How much, and
Hmm.
navigating. O is for optimize. This is kind of what we were talking about earlier, remembering all the times that you have done the audacious big thing that did not have the path. And if you're having a hard time with that, start with the daily win tracking. N is network.
Mm.
Make sure that you are surrounded
Hmm.
by the people who can amplify and uplift and
Hmm.
uphold you and dare to believe them when they tell you how remarkable you truly are.
Mm.
This network part is no joke. I
Hmm.
don't care who you are. It's some tricky stuff to be able to
Hmm.
trust into other people, and that's the work as I know you know better than anybody. Um, I is unsexy implement. It is just do the work. Do the work. Work, do the
Hmm.
work, do the work, do the work. And then C is for celebrate because
Mm.
we can't move on to the next. And that's what
Hmm.
trailblazers are all about, right? Like, let's
Hmm.
get here and then let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next. Like, what's the next vista that I can create for myself and for everybody who wants to come behind me, right?
Right.
Or to inspire other people who are at their own precipice of their expansion. But we got to
Right.
celebrate to be able to integrate all the hard work so we can do it again.
So, wow, I love that. So, I, identity.
Mhm.
C is confronting the critics, so critics. O is optimize. N is network. I is implement. And C is celebrate.
Got it.
Iconic.
Hmm.
Iconic. I love
Right.
it. I love it.
And if you think about any time that you've done something iconic, you did this.
Mm-hmm.
You had to see
Mm-hmm.
yourself as the person capable of that. You had to like get real with what was actually in the way. You had to
Mm-hmm.
remind yourself all that you've already done to get to this extraordinary place. You probably phoned a friend, right? And then you just did the damn thing.
Yeah.
You
The-
celebrate.
so to the person that is listening to this, before we go to rapid thrivers, to the person that's listening to this, and as they went through that, I think the one that got me the most was confronting the critics, but more importantly, the inner critic. So to that person that's battling with the inner critic, what is one small, tangible, powerful step today as they're listening to this, that they can take to really just own their iconic.
Yeah. So the thing that just came through is making sure that when they are telling themselves all the reasons that they can't do the thing, to take one of those disempowering beliefs or one of those internal critic ideas. Um,
Hmm.
and we know it's an inner critic because it's not interested in resolving anything. Like a realistic objection is like, if you kind of have a logistical workaround, you'll get this figured out. But the
Hmm.
inner critic is like, you're never gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's like
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
contracting. Pull one of those out. Listen for what it's actually saying. Give
Hmm.
it voice. Journal about it. And then I treat it like a tantrumy toddler. You know, we know that you cannot yell a tantrumy toddler. You got to get calm. You
Mm,
gotta listen to it. And you got to say, what are you actually afraid of? And if you do that journal exercise, it's like what's really going on? I'm
mm,
afraid of this. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this. Let it rant.
mhm.
And then at the base of it, you'll probably hear something like, I'm afraid we will lose it all.
Yeah.
That
Mm,
fear is sacred. And so I think that where we just kind of go like, just get over it, we have
mm,
to address that. We have to go, oh,
mhm,
you're afraid of that we're going to lose connection with people. You're
mhm,
afraid that we're going to I'm not going to let that happen. It's
mhm,
okay. Like if I
mhm.
take this speaking opportunity and I get really successful, we're not going to forget our people.
Yeah.
We are going to continue to love them and be there with them. So
Mm,
I would allow it to be a tantrumy toddler, and I would just give it voice so that you can pull out that one value that it might be holding. And usually it's connection, usually it's safety,
mhm.
it's something, and that's worth honoring. So if
Yeah.
you can again pull that out and then just hold it and then remind it, oh, I got this. Like I
Mhm,
got this.
mhm.
Um, it's quite
Yeah.
magical.
It's
It's like
actually that just really helped me in the moment, so thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that. So happy to hear that.
So rapid
Hmm.
thrivers, when you think of somebody when you think of someone who empowers you, who comes first to mind?
My mama,
Mm.
my mama, my mama, she passed lots of years ago, but she says
Mm.
her mantra was don't postpone joy, and that is every single
Ooh,
day. Every single day I think about
don't
that.
postpone joy.
Yeah,
I
every
love
single day.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you, Moma.
Mm.
Moma? We call
Mama.
Moma?
Oh, this is her ring. I'm wearing her ring, so I offered to.
Oh, I
Yeah. Oh,
love
well,
that
it's very
too.
shiny right now.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
What is a daily activity that helps you with your thrive?
108 gratitudes. We already covered
Yeah,
that.
no kidding.
Next.
That's
Next.
crazy. What is a book that has helped you with your thrive?
Ooh, I am right now. Oh, I put it away. I've put it away. I'm reading some Buddhist texts right now.
Okay.
And so forgotten the name of one because sometimes they're very long text names. I'll share it with you in a moment. Um, because I realized lately that I've been fretting a lot more
Mhm.
than I ever have, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm
So
not.
you're trying to get to the Zen? Okay.
Yeah,
Zen
I'm not
up,
here. Yeah, yeah,
Zen up, okay.
yeah.
What is an app that helps you with your thrive?
Calm.
Okay.
Calm app helps me with my thrive. Yeah, apparently it's all about bringing it in.
Zen. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, reeling it in.
yeah.
And what is one misconception that people have of you as they see you speaking on stages, doing your thing? Yeah.
It's one of two things. Sometimes people approach me, they've read my stuff and they're like, I didn't know that you were like when they meet me, they're like, I didn't know you were so light. I just thought you were like heavy, like like deep thinking, heavy. And then other people will meet me and they're like, wow, you're so brilliant. I did not know that you were actually really deep. So I think that I tend to toggle this sort of, this aspect, and I just like, yeah, I'm a
I'm
Libran. I got it.
I'm all of it. I'm
I'm
all
all
of
of
it.
it,
Yeah, I'm all of
as
it.
we
I'm
all
all
are,
of it.
right?
I love
Yeah.
it. So where do we find more of you online?
TanyaGeisler.com is my site, and I'm at Tanya Geisler pretty much everywhere.
Okay, and I'll share your links in the bio in the show notes. And as a parting question, please finish this sentence
Mm.
for us. I am empowered in my skin when.
I'm empowered in my skin when I'm understanding and compassionate with myself and the person that I'm with.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then I feel very empowered as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great
Thank
question.
you. I'm so happy that we are so still connected, man. We're gonna have to do the in-person something.
I love it.
Yeah. And
Here for it.
actually, I think we'll talk a little bit in the B-roll, but yes, thank you so much today for reaching out. Thank you so much for agreeing to say yes, for agreeing, no, for saying yes, for agreeing to say yes, for saying yes. It's like say yes, and you're like, okay, I agree. I'm gonna say yes. No, for saying
Oh.
for saying yes, and to all the listeners, I trust that you're feeling more empowered in your skin. But sadly, this is where I have to say, we're out. Bye bye. There you have it. I trust that you're feeling more empowered in your skin. And as the late Dr. Maya Angelou says, when you get, you give, when you learn, you teach. So it would mean so much for us at EIMS if you share this episode and tag us or teach an insight that you learned from today's episode on your socials and tag us. And remember to go over onto iTunes and leave us a review or follow us on socials at Empowered in My Skin. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.